Hello everyone, my name is Kriti Tripathi and in this year's Civil Services Examination 2023, I have been blessed with All India rank 149. In this video, I would like to share my strategy starting from prelims to the interview part. So starting from the prelims, I would like to say that from January 2023 to May 2023, I have totally dedicated myself towards prelims, because this was my third attempt and third prelims in 2020 and 2021. I have given prelims, but because of lack of focused preparation, I could not clear prelims. So this time I decided to totally dedicate myself towards prelims. So for prelims, I have there are two papers. The first paper is general studies paper and the second one is CSAT paper. So both papers for me were equally tough, and particularly CSAT was really very tough for me because I did not have a maths background. I did my schooling in humanities background, and after that I completed my graduation, post graduation in political science. So maths was really very difficult for me. So I decided that I'll divide my time and my strategy in two phases. The first phase was for GS1 and the another was for GS2, that was CSAT. For GS1, I have referred all the sources that have been told by many toppers. Like for polity, you have to refer Lakshmikant. For spectrum, you have for history you have to refer Rajiv Ahir, and for geography you have to refer NCERT, and so on. So I have basically followed these resources. I have revised them for number of times. And for prelims, I have joined test series. I have joined 2 test series, and I have I made sure that whenever I give test, I have revised everything properly. Then I used to write test. I used to fill OMR, and after filling the OMR, after giving the test, I used to analyze. While analyzing, I used to think that why this question of mine gone wrong, where I did make mistake. For example, whether I understood the question wrongly, or I have not read properly. What was this? So you have to analyze it very carefully, and you have to do this for all the subjects. Now when you go for the second reading and for this second tranche of paper solving, make sure that you have revised your test papers, the model answers that have been given. For that, what you can do and what I have followed is that I took out printout of all the test papers and solved them. And while analyzing, I used to mark that why this question went wrong, what data is there, whether I have not understood the question, or if I have not read the question properly, I used to write not read properly, so that in the second reading, when I used to go through my test papers, I became vigilant that in the upcoming paper I do not have to make this mistake. I cannot make silly mistakes. Now coming to how many questions you should solve. See, there are 2 types of people. One who believes in accuracy. They try to do 80 questions, 80 or 85 questions, or even less than that, because they feel that उनकी 90% के आसपास accuracy, तो उनके बहुत सारे questions सही हो जाते थे. But I belong to other group of people who were more into risk taking. So I used to do lots of questions. I used to solve maximum question. For example, in 2023 prelims, I did 94 questions, and in previous test papers I have seen that whenever I used to attempt more question, I used to get more marks. So you need to understand which type of people you are, whether you follow the more accurate kind of strategy, or you are of one who likes to take more and more risk. But I would suggest that after 2022, the prelims has become very unpredictable. So you should solve maximum number of questions. So I think that I have solve more than 90 questions in all of my test papers and even in the final test paper. So this strategy worked for me, and I think you should also take on this strategy. Now, coming to what one should do just before 15 day of prelims. From the first day of your preparation, when you start preparing for prelims, you should have this thing in your mind that you have to solve PYQ. You just don't have to solve PYQs, but you have to see some peculiarity in it. You have to analyze it. You should understand that while going through PYQs, there are some topics which have been frequently asked almost everywhere, every year, like Buddhism and Jainism in art and culture is UPSC's favorite. Like similarly in polity, Parliament as well as Panchayati Raj is their favorite. So you should not make mistake in this. You have to revise it. And while analyzing, try to find a trend. And while analyzing, I have found that all of the above options are mostly not correct in UPSC. Whenever UPSC asks something related to number, it is not correct. Whenever there is some statement which is of extreme or which is say mostly, totally, something like this, then the statement is usually incorrect. So you have to find a trend of it, and you should follow that trend in your final paper. This PYQ trend should be followed at least 3 times. PYQ should be etched in your mind. You should be so much thorough with PYQ that once you see the question, you know that the answer is this, and you should also know that this particular option is not correct, then why it is not correct. This is one important thing. One thing I would also like to mention, that whenever you solve test series and whenever you find that you have done this some question wrong, for example, during test series, I found that I was lagging behind in economics test series, economics question. So whenever economics question came and I made mistake there, I used to search the source of it and see the solution of it. And believe me, this strategy has worked really for me. This strategy has really helped me, and whenever I followed this, I never made I never went wrong with that question in another test series. So you should follow this कि आप जहाँ पे गलत कर रहे हैं उस क्वेश्चन का सोर्स देखिए और उसका सोल्यूशन तुरंत वहीं देखिए, उस सोर्स से ही देखिए, आप कभी नहीं भूलेंगे. जैसा कि मैं बात कर रही थी, प्रीलिम्स के 15 दिन पहले आपको क्या करना चाहिए. बिल्कुल टेस्ट सीरीज मत सॉल्व कीजिए. यू शुड ओनली गो थ्रू PYQs because it will get you in touch with the trend of UPSC, not with the trend of coaching institutes test series. This is very important. You should be very thorough. You should focus on the topics that have been frequently asked in each section. Like I mentioned, Buddhism and Jainism in art and culture, Parliament, Panchayati Raj in polity, various amendments as well as acts, British India Acts, Charter Acts, as well as various recommendation of committees like Cabinet Mission, like Cripps Mission. What was those recommendation? So you have to be very thorough. You have to very focused. What you have to study. You're not supposed to study this much. You're only supposed to study this much because this much has been focused by UPSC. Now, coming to D-Day. होता उसी का है प्रीलिम्स जिसने अपने नर्व्स पे कंट्रोल किया है. बी फोकस्ड, बी काम, and always reach your center at least 45 minutes before start of the exam so that you're not panicked. If possible, get in touch with your center a day before the prelims exam. While writing, while going through the paper and before starting the paper, you should be confident that yes, I have read a lot and I am going to clear this paper. Even if you don't understand, even if you're not able to solve some questions in the start, be relaxed, be calm, and move to another questions. Because the moment you lose your calm, the moment you lose control on your nerves, your confidence will be diminished and your performance is going to be diminished. So these things needs to be followed. While filling the bubbles, what I used to do, that I used to solve paper in three parts. In the first part, I used to tick the answers of the question which I knew that this is the correct answer. I was 100% sure about it. After that, I used to give in 1 hour. I try to solve as many questions as I can and tick the answers of those questions on the paper itself. After this, I used to fill bubble, and for bubbling I kept 7 minutes. Don't make silly mistakes while filling the bubble. In prelims 2020 as well as prelims 2021, I made 3 questions of mine. I marked 3 questions of mine wrong just because of filling of the bubbles. So please don't make mistake. In the second part, I used to do those questions for which I was not very sure about it. I was confused between 2 options. While in this part, what I used to do, that I used to mark the answer on the paper, and instead of filling bubble later, I used to fill bubble at this time only, so that I was not at panic state. I was not in panic mode at the last. In the third stage, I used to do those questions where I was not at all sure, or I was confused between 3 options. So even in the third stage, I followed the same strategy. I used to mark the question and at the same time mark the option and fill the bubble of that question at the same time. This is how I did my paper 1 in prelims. Now coming to CSAT paper, this was very difficult for me. For that, what I did is to again divide my strategy for quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, and comprehension. For quantitative aptitude, what I did is that I solved all the PYQs from 2013 to 2022. That helped me a lot, because you will see that in some years the questions have been asked verbatim. They were totally repeated, and even if they were not repeated verbatim, the trend was repeated. The options were different or something. But PYQs are going to help you a lot. For that, for practicing PYQs in quantitative aptitude, I took help of YouTube. I solved PYQs firstly paper wise, year wise. For example, 2013. If I have to solve 2013, then firstly I'll solve 2000 CSAT questions quantitative aptitude in one go. Similarly, I did for all the years till 2022. After that, in next leg, what I did, I went topic wise. For example, percentage. I took help of YouTube and searched on YouTube like percentage PYQ CSAT UPSC. There you will understand how you have to solve the question, how you're going to approach the question. This I did for all the topics like percentage, like averages, like permutation, combination, and everything. Logical reasoning of mine was better than quantitative aptitude. So I practice it only by myself and a book that is of KP Singh's book, and it comes in Hindi. You can refer it. KP Singh Reasoning. This is the name of the book. For comprehension part, I was very much relied on this, because comprehension is something that is going to rescue a non-math student. For that, what I did not go for any test series, or I did not go for any coaching institute's solution of comprehension. I just opened my laptop. On one tab, I opened the comprehension of particular year, the UPSC paper, the comprehension of UPSC paper, and on this another tab, I used to search the answer key. Once I solve the comprehension, then I look for the UPSC's answer key, and this is how I developed that even in comprehension there is a trend. extreme statements are not right. What is the difference between assumption and inferences? You'll get to know this. For solving the CSAT paper, I have divided 120 minutes of mine in 3 parts. 40 minutes for the first part of paper, where I used to find those questions which are very easy of maths, not very easy, because CSAT from 2023 has not been very easy. So I used to do those questions in first 40 minutes, which were doable for me, and I used to skim through the whole paper, so that easy questions are not left out by me. In these another 40 minutes, I used to do the questions related to comprehension, and in last 40 minutes, I used to do questions where which I can do, or where I can take some risk. That's it. The number of questions that I think is good for CSAT is around 50. You should attempt 50 questions. And you should be very, very thorough with comprehension, because CSAT has become so difficult, particularly quantitative aptitude section, that you cannot take risk with comprehension. You should be in position to solve at least all the questions with at least 90% accuracy, and for that you have to practice comprehension. For that, I have already mentioned the strategy of going through the papers of UPSC as well as checking UPSC's answer key only. So this was my whole preparation about prelims. Now coming to mains. When we talk about mains, we have to understand that we have 4 GS paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the GS paper have their own sanctity. They have their own character. Your GS1 should not look like your GS2. At the same time, your GS2 should not look like your GS4. You have to be very, very focused about this, that every paper has its difference. You have to understand this. You have to have case study. You have to have good examples, ethical examples. In GS4, you have to have good idea about constitutional amendments, various Supreme Court judgments in GS paper 2, and you have to have data in GS paper 3. So you should be able to understand that this is the character of this paper, and your answer should reflect this. Talking about preparing notes for GS1, the usual sources have been followed by me, and in this you can also take help of various online sources, various coaching institutes, and various reports. Now talking about GS1 answer writing. Answer writing is an extremely important part. You should start your answer writing just after preparing notes. I have started my mains preparation in October 2022 to December 2022, and before that, while I was preparing for PCS mains, I have made notes. So at least 6 to 7 months should be मतलब आपको डेडिकेटेड होकर के देना पड़ेगा इसके लिए. रही बात आंसर राइटिंग की, तो आंसर राइटिंग कब शुरू करें? एक बार आपके नोट्स बन जाते हैं तो आपको आंसर राइटिंग शुरू कर देनी चाहिए. मैंने आंसर राइटिंग कैसे की थी? जब मैं GS1 ख़त्म कर लेती थी कोई एक टॉपिक, और आंसर राइटिंग उसकी मैंने ऐसे शुरू करती थी कि मैं PYQs उठाती थी. मैंने PYQs के लिए एक बुक मंगा ली थी, आप कोई भी बुक मंगा सकते हैं, सॉल्व्ड PYQs की. वहाँ से आप रोज़ 2 आंसर लिखिए. डेली आंसर राइटिंग बहुत ज़रूरी है, और उसको आप कहीं से भी चेक करा सकते हैं. बहुत सारे कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट चेक करते हैं, या फिर आप आप किसी सीनियर से चेक करा सकते हैं. तो आप 2 आंसर ज़रूर लिखिए. 2 आंसर लिखते समय ये ध्यान रखिए कि PYQs की बुक से उसको मिलाइए और देखिए कि क्या ऐसा पॉइंट था जो आप नहीं मैच कर पाए हैं. इसी में टॉपर्स की आंसर कॉपी आती है. इन टॉपर्स आंसर कॉपी should be your guide. At the initial stage, I think that you should at least spend 30 minutes of yours on toppers answer copy. You don't just have to see the toppers answer copy. I would suggest that write an answer that is written by topper from point 1 to last point. You should, I think you should copy even a comma. Once you do this exercise, After some time, after lots of exercise, you will understand that what is something that makes them topper, what is something that your answer was missing and their answer had that. So this has to be done. Talking about GS2, GS2 की एज आई सेट कि अपनी एक सैंक्टिटी, अपना एक कैरेक्टर होता है. वो कैरेक्टर कैसे दिखेगा? पहले तो आपको अपने नोट्स एकदम अच्छे से तैयार करने हैं. जो हमारे सोर्सेज हैं, जो जैसे लक्ष्मीकांत हो गई या कोचिंग के बहुत सारे मटेरियल्स अवेलेबल हैं ऑनलाइन, वहाँ से आप देख सकते हैं. एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो रेफर NCERT नोट्स एंड ऑल्सो सेकेंड ARC के रिकमेंडेशंस हैं, उसकी समरी भी कई जगह पे अवेलेबल है, वहाँ से आप ले सकते हैं. GS2 में what you have to do is to prepare a list of those judgments which are very important, that are related to environment, that are related to women, related to privacy, related to freedom of expression, related to reservation, that you're going to use in your answer. Similarly, you have to prepare notes of some good practices as well. For example, e-governance. There is topic of e-governance in GS2. So while I remember that while writing the answer, I have mentioned Jan Sunwai app of UP government. So you should be thorough with such kind of examples. While writing the answers, these examples, these judgments and these constitutional provisions or articles should reflect in your answer. Whenever you're writing an answer on governor and you're not mentioning part 6, you're not mentioning article 153, that answer is not complete, that answer is not good, right? Similarly, when you're talking about anti-defection law, but you're talking about the problems of anti-defection provision, and you're talking about Kyoto Holohan case, your answer is not complete. So you have to follow this. Now GS3. In GS3 we have various parts: the economy part, the disaster management part, security part, and the another one is environment part. You have to make notes of this. Here again, the character of GS3 should be known by the facts, by the data, by the graph you use in your answer. For example, if you have to if you are writing that Indian economy has gone from this to this, instead of writing a fact that from this particular trillion to this particular trillion we have moved this, if you make a graph of this, that the trajectory of Indian economy has been upward motion, if you make a graph of it, your answer is going to be a bit different from others, and it will be very catchy for it, because you're not just writing a data, you're making a graph. It should look like this. The economics answer, the GS3 answer should have case studies, examples, particularly of security in terrorism. For example, if you're writing an answer on terrorism, and try to mention Christchurch call of action, how you should try to mention the acts that are there to tackle the terrorism. You should mention about Operation Sadbhavna, which has been asked in CSE 2024 prelims as well, that how Indian Army is helping people in Jammu and Kashmir and trying to revive the situation. So these data, these facts should be there in your short notes, which you are going to use in your answer. Similarly, when you are talking about disaster management, any answer that talks about remedies is not complete if you do not mention NDMA's recommendation. So these things should be kept in your mind. Talking about GS4, completing the paper of GS4 is a big task and it should be done. What I did was dividing my preparation in two stages, the part A and part B. For part B, I'll first talk about case studies. For case studies, I have read all the PYQs and I have tried to write all the PYQs. As I said, in the daily answer writing, I used to write all the PYQs, case studies, and try to match them with any particular book or topper's answer copy. While doing this, I came to know that you should have a handbook of keywords, of some phrases, some conclusion, some quotes, some examples that you are going to use in your case study. That I did. Now, while solving the paper, I gave 15 minutes to solve case studies. So 15 into 6, 90 minutes for paper, for the case study part, and another for the rest time for completing part A. In this, I would like to mention 2 answer copies which I have followed from toppers. The one is Vishakha Yadav ma'am's copy and another is Shruti Sharma ma'am's copy. While following their copy, you should not just read their copies. You should write what answers, what quotes they have mentioned, what examples they have given. For example, I totally copied some examples like from Shruti Sharma ma'am's copy, like Sanjukta Parashar's, like Phool Walon Ki Saar. So this was followed by talking about case studies. Always understand that while writing case studies, you have to imagine yourself in the situation so that you give only practical things. You're not going to build sand in air. You're not going to build castle in the sand, right? You have to give practical situation. And here again, topper's copy of Vishakha ma'am, particularly for case studies, was my guide. I followed this. Talking about essay. Essay is something which is very scoring, but at the same time, it has also potential to totally demoralize your result. So do not take essay very lightly. I should suggest that you should start your essay preparation from the day you start your mains preparation. This is very important. So for that, आपको कम से कम 5-7 टॉपर्स, आप देख लीजिए जिनके अच्छे मार्क्स आए, उनकी कॉपी पढ़िए. 5-7 कॉपी पढ़ने का मेरा मतलब 5-7 टॉपर्स की जितनी कॉपी उन्होंने लिखी है, आप उसको पढ़िए. You will understand how they are dealing with the topic, how they are making it multidimensional, what examples are they giving, and आपको पता चलेगा कि सिर्फ एग्जाम्पल नहीं देना है, आपको किसी चीज़ को पहले एक्सप्लेन करना है. ऐसे में सबसे बड़ी चीज़ जो मैंने समझी है कि सिर्फ आपको एग्जाम्पल नहीं देना है. आप किसी चीज़ को डिकोड करिए कि अगर ये चीज़ है तो आपको ये नहीं बताना है कि ये चीज़ है, मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया, 4-5 एग्जाम्पल दिए, हो गया. आपको ये बताना है कि ये चीज़ क्यों है, ये चीज़ क्या है, ये चीज़ क्यों है, ये चीज़ कैसे है. एंड फॉर दैट यू हैव टू सपोर्ट इट बाय गिविंग एग्जाम्पल्स. You can talking about the introduction part. Many people are writing their essay by using anecdotes, by using story, or by quotes. Whatever method suits you, you can totally go with this. And always try to understand that dealing with the body part, your essay should be multidimensional. And I said, as I said earlier, that it should not just about giving lots of example. It should about dealing with the topic. Why, how, when, what, ये होना चाहिए. And for that आप उसमें कई सारे examples देते जाइए. Talking about the last part of your essay, the concluding part should be of at least, see, whatever strategy I am telling you is my strategy. You can follow if you like, and if you don't follow if you don't like. Everyone has their own strategy, but generally I have seen that the conclusion part, I have also seen many answers copies, and I have also listened many toppers. They are also of the view that your conclusion should be of 1 page, 1 to 1.5 page. It should summarize everything, and while ending the essay you should have something punchline. Your essay should be something कि जब आप ख़त्म करने लगे कि क्या बात है, ये ख़त्म कर दिया. ऐसा नहीं पढ़ के लगना चाहिए कि अरे यार ये अंत अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है. इसके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं आप? मैंने जो किया था, मैं रामधारी सिंह दिनकर गज़लों कई सारे शेर मैंने इकट्ठे कर लिए थे. रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की कविताएं थी, और भी कविताएं इकट्ठी कर ली थी, कोट्स इकट्ठे कर लिए थे. मैं उन कोट्स से, उन शेरों से, उन कविताओं से अपने ऐसे को एंड करती थी. आपका ऐसे जो होना चाहिए, अगर ओवरऑल ऐसे की स्ट्रैटेजी की मैं बात करूँ, आपका ऐसे ऐसा होना चाहिए जो रीडर को बांध के रखे। इसके लिए अगर आप एनेक्डोट शुरू में इस्तेमाल करते हैं किसी कैरेक्टर से, तो वो बांधे रखता है, वो इंटरेस्ट बनाए रखता है। रिमेंबर ऑलवेज दैट फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ योर एसे एंड योर लास्ट पार्ट, वो आपका मिक्स मैच, मतलब वो कनेक्टेड होना चाहिए, तभी वो एक लिंक दिखाएगा और एक पूरा सर्कल कंप्लीट करेगा। सो दिस वॉज अबाउट होल GS पेपर एंड होल द कॉमन पेपर्स। अगर मैं एक जनरलाइज तौर पे बात करूँ तो आपको मेंस में क्या क्या ध्यान रखना चाहिए। पहली तो ये चीज़ कि फर्स्टली आपके जो मेंस के मटेरियल हैं, आपका मेंस का नोट्स है, इट शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड थॉरली। यू शुड नॉट लीव इवन अ सिंगल पॉइंट मेंशन्ड इन द सिलेबस. You should make notes of each and everything given in the syllabus. Firstly. Secondly, answer writing. You should start answer writing once you complete the syllabus. Daily answer writing is very important. Third, prelims of toppers copies is your guide. You should at least spend 30 minutes of use. Copy their answer. If you're writing 3 answers daily, try to write 2 answers in your own words and third answer that has been written by topper. You should write that answer verbatim. This will help you understand what is something that make them topper, what is something that they are including and you're not including, and it will also generate a mindset that is going to make your copy look worth. Thirdly, completing the paper, completing all the questions in 20 questions in 3 hours is very, very important. You should not leave a single question because even 1 marks are going to make or break your result. So this is very, very important. Now, one thing that I would like to talk about mains is mindset at the detail. 2023 में मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ कि ऐसे में थोड़ा सा मेरा मन ठीक नहीं था, इस वजह से मेरा ऐसे उतना अच्छा नहीं हुआ एंड दैट रिफ्लेक्टेड इन माई मार्क्स. सिमिलरली इन GS1 आई बिकेम लैक्स इन first 10 questions that were not that I did not give 100% in them, and that again reflected in my paper. So whenever you go in exam hall, go with this mindset that I am going to write the best answer. I am going to give 100% of mine. You are not at all allowed to give 98%. You have to give your 100%. Because अगर आप 100% नहीं देंगे, आपके पेपर में वो दिख जाएगा. उत्साह से जाइए, खुशी मन से दीजिए और इस कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ दीजिए कि जो क्वेश्चन आएगा मैं कर लूँगा, सब अच्छा होगा. हाँ, 2 चीज़ का मैं जिक्र करना भूल, I forgot 2 things that worked really well for me. The one is making notes of newspaper and another is listening news. I was regular listener of Palki Sharma shows and Shekhar Gupta shows, especially Palki Sharma shows. By listening Palki Sharma shows, I came to know about the nitty-gritties of not just international relations, but also about all the areas, all the dimensions of the happenings that were going around. Similarly with Shekhar Gupta shows, I came to know how I am going to link current affairs with my answer. Talking about making notes from newspaper, I had 3 to 4 pages of notes which I made from newspaper. In those notes, I used to quote those things which are of example. For example, as I mentioned, Operation Sadbhavna और हर घर गंगा जल अभियान या हर घर ध्यान अभियान. This type of thing, if there is something quoted by CJI or something quoted by our honorable Prime Minister or our honorable President, I used to quote it there. Secondly, while making notes, I have made notes of economic survey, the data given in economic survey as well as data given in budget. And I have used those datas particularly in my GS paper 3. It is very, very important. So you should make these short notes. Be thorough with newspaper. particularly the editorial sections. Not just for you're writing your optional or you have to write some answer. Just read to have an idea, to be in the position of having an analysis. That's it. Because this is not going to help you only in mains examination but also in interview. So this was all about mains. Now coming to optional. My optional was PSIR. In PSIR, again there are two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and again both the papers are divided into two sections, part A and part B in section paper 1, and part A and part B in paper 2. So you have to make notes from various books that have been told by toppers, and for understanding the strategy as well as resources, I have followed Utkarsh sir's strategy. I have also followed Navneet ma'am's strategy, and the resources they have used, and I have also seen toppers their answer copies. For paper 1, which talks about political thinkers, Western political thinker, Indian political thinkers, I would suggest you to go through O.P. Ghabba's book. O.P. Ghabba's book is there for thinkers as well as theory. I have made notes from them. I have also taken help from IGNOU. Similarly, for part B, IGNOU material is there. You can make notes out of that, and also part B has been dealt in terms of notes from NCERTs. You can make notes out of that. About writing, always remember that whenever you write any answer in either part A or part B, it has to be linked. If you are writing an answer on theory, it has to be linked with part B. It has to be linked with current happenings. Whenever you are writing any answer of feminism, you should firstly discuss what feminism is, who are the scholars. While talking about the scholars, I would like to mention that scholars are not everything. Instead of just mentioning a scholar, try to write what they have analyzed. Try to link that analysis with recent happening. Whenever you are writing an answer on feminism, you should talk about anti-hijab movement. You should talk about abortion laws, and you should talk about women's movement that is going on. This kind of thing has to be followed in all the answers. In paper A, when we talk about thinkers part, again, thinkers part, first you have to write about what was the idea of that thinker. Try to link that thinker's ideas with not just part B, that is of current happening and in government and politics, but also if you can link it with Indian thinkers, it would be very good. For example, talking about Aristotle's idea of property has similarity with Gandhi's idea of trusteeship. If you link it, then it is a good answer. And in talking about it, if you mention CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, it will make your answer wholesome, where you have talked about Aristotle, where you have talked about Gandhiji, and you have also talked about the current happening. So you have to deal in such manner. Similarly, you have to take paper B, that is of Indian government and politics, and it also has section of Indian national movement. Whenever you write Indian national movement, a question related to Indian national movement, Indian constitution, always mention constitutional article. If you are a student of PSIR, you are not mentioning articles, then the answer is not complete. And whenever you mention anything related to constitution, try to justify its relevance. There's no question of relevance in this, but you should mention something related to current happening. And again, you should link it with part A, Western thinker portions as well as Indian thinkers portion. Talking about PYQs in optional is most important, very very important. In 2023 examination, paper 2 has at least 2 to 3 questions directly from PYQs. So you have to be very very thorough about with PYQs. Daily answer writing should be done. How you are going to do daily answer writing? Buy a PYQ book, any good book from of PYQ written by some topper or some institute. You can take it, write an answer and match that answer of yours with the given answer in the book and try to find loopholes in it. You will find that after time, after lots of exercise, you will be you will be able to fulfill all your gaps and your answer are going to like a good one. Again, टॉपर्स आंसर कॉपी हैज़ टू बी लुक फॉर. आप उसमें देखिए कि यहाँ भी वही स्ट्रैटेजी अपनानी है कि एक आंसर, जैसे हमने जीएस में किया था कि एक आंसर हम टॉपर के आंसर कॉपी से पूरा उतार लेते थे, वैसे ही ऑप्शनल में एक आंसर पूरा उतार लीजिए और देखिए कि उनका माइंडसेट क्या है, वो ऐसा क्या लिख रहे हैं जो आप नहीं लिख रहे थे. धीरे धीरे वो माइंडसेट डेवलप होता जाएगा और एक आंसर ऐसा लिखिए कि जो उन्होंने लिखा है आप लिखे हैं, बिना उनका देखे आप लिखिए और कोशिश कीजिए पता करने की कि आपसे क्या छूट गया है. धीरे धीरे इस एक्सरसाइज से आपके आंसर इनरिच होते जाएंगे. टॉकिंग अबाउट पेपर 2. पेपर 2 in there are again 2 parts. The one is comparative politics and international relations theory, and another part is of Indian foreign policy. Again, the strategy would be same. You have to link both the section while writing any answer in anywhere. For example, if you are writing about international relations theory, जैसे मान लीजिए आप रियलिज्म लिख रहे हैं या आप लिबरलिज्म लिख रहे हैं, तो आप उसमें एक एग्जाम्पल दीजिए इंडिया चाइना का कि हम रियलिस्ट भी हैं, वी हैव कॉम्पिटिशंस एट द बॉर्डर्स इन द टर्म्स ऑफ डिफेंस, बट एट द सेम टाइम we are also following liberal approach where there is collaboration in trade, there is collaboration on the issue of climate change. So आपको इस तरीके से लिंक करना है. यहाँ पे मैंने इग्नू को सबसे ज़्यादा रेफ़र किया था, खास करके जो थियोरेटिकल पोर्शंस होते हैं इग्नू के नोट्स उसमें काफ़ी अच्छे हैं. आप उसमें से नोट्स बना सकते हैं. और फॉर सम पार्ट्स आई हैव यूज्ड एंड्रू हेवुड्स बुक, दैट इज़ ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स. सो दीज वर माई सोर्सेज and again toppers answer copy have been followed by me. Talking about paper part B, that is of Indian foreign policy and our foreign relations. Here Palki Sharma's show was a big rescue for me. You're not just supposed to write an answer like कि इंडिया का रिलेशन क्या है, क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, इसको कैसे सुधार सकते हैं. इसको लिंक कीजिए अगेन पार्ट ए से. जैसे मैंने चाइना का एग्जांपल दिया, इफ़ यू आर राइटिंग समथिंग अबाउट इंडिया चाइना रिलेशन, यू हैव टू मेंशन द थ्योरीज रिलेटेड टू रियलिज्म, लिबरलिज्म. आपको ये चीज़ें मेंशन करनी है. और यहाँ पे न्यूज़पेपर आपके बहुत काम आएंगे, खास करके सी राजा मोहन का आर्टिकल और ORF ऑब्जर्वर रिसर्च फाउंडेशन एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. दे पब्लिश सम आर्टिकल्स ऑन foreign relations. I have taken notes from them as well, and I try to use those notes and those ideas in my answers. यहाँ पे भी आपको वही स्ट्रैटेजी फॉलो करनी है. टॉपर की आंसर कॉपी देखनी है, उनके आंसर को एकदम उतार देना है, चेक करना है कि वो कैसे लिख रहे हैं. फिर एक आंसर ऐसा लिखना है जिसमें आप बिल्कुल उनको कॉपी नहीं कर रहे हैं, एंड ट्राई टू सी आप कहाँ लैग कर रहे हैं. ये चीज़ हो गई. देखिए सी ऑप्शनल इज़ वन एरिया विच इज़ there are 3 things which are going to make sure that whether you are going to be in the list or not, that is ethics, essay and optional. In both the 3 things, both the 3 subjects, you should be flexible. If your approach is not working, be flexible to understand that I have to change my approach so that I can score more and more. And if your approach is not helping you for 1 or 2 times, then there is need to change. there is some problem that you are unable to encounter, so you should take help of someone. You should take help of Topper's Copy, or you should take help of your teachers, of your seniors, or anyone you like to, but be flexible. So this was all about mains. Now I would like to move to interview. See, the preparation for interview is not the talk of day or two or a month, but I think that it is a talk of at least 1 to 2 years of yours, at the least. In my case, interview has helped me a lot, not just in making me be in the list, but also having this good rank. So for the preparation of interview, I think the preparation of interview should start just after mains. While once you give your mains, your heart will know that whether you're going to clear it or not. And even if you are this % sure, even if you are a little sure that you are going to make into the mains, you are going to clear the mains, then you should start preparation, because there is very little gap between the declaration of mains result and start of an interview. In our case, it was less than even 20 days. So the window is very less. So you should prepare it just after mains. How you are going to start it? Firstly, you have to understand what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. Fine. You should read newspaper daily, at least 2, and give as much time to the newspaper as you can. Thirdly, you should be in talkative mode, because gone are the periods where you have to write the answer. Mains was there to show that skill of yours, but here you have to tell someone what you are thinking, and you will not be able to say that if you have not practiced. For that, you have to have command over language. If you are giving in Hindi, be thorough it. Always read Hindi newspaper. If you are giving it in English, always read English newspaper, always listen English news, like as I said, Palki Sharma shows, Shekhar Gupta shows, Sunset TV debates. They are your guide. So for the practice part, you have to read the newspaper, you have to be in talkative mode, you have to you have to listen the shows, as well as again as we did in our mains preparation, that we were writing 2 answers daily. You should do one thing that I also did, that just take 2 questions and try to make a video of yours, that how you are speaking on it. Fine. You can start it by giving 2 minutes a day and try to increase it day by day. These 2 questions, or these 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes are going to help you a lot. So as we did in mains, that we were practicing 2 questions daily, we have to practice 2 questions daily during interview. Now, talking about written part of main. By written part, I mean the things where we have to prepare notes, like our name, our education background, our parental background, our university from where we have read, our district, things going on around. You have to make notes of it. For this, you can take help of coaching institute, because coaching institutes in this stage helps a lot. They give a questions related to your DAF. You should practice those questions. You should practice about you should make notes about each and everything. For example, if it is your name, then related to it. If it is your optional is something जहाँ पे आप बिल्कुल लैक्स नहीं हो सकते, बिकॉज ये आपका पोर्शन है, ये आपका एरिया है, और यहाँ पे अगर आपने गड़बड़ी की तो आप फिर गए. तो you should be very thorough with your optional. You should be very thorough about your state, about your district, because it is something that is in front of you and that is actually motivating you to be a civil servant. आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कोई दिक्कत है तो थोड़ा ऐसा सोचने की कोशिश कीजिए कि अगर आप इस जगह होते तो आप क्या करते, आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट में क्या फेमस है. अब जैसे मैं वाराणसी से हूँ तो बनारसी साड़ी, अब बनारसी साड़ी से रिलेटेड जो भी चीज़ें थोड़ी निटी ग्रिटीज़ आपको पता होनी चाहिए कि व्हाट मेक्स बनारसी साड़ी एन ऑथेंटिक वन, what are the weaving patterns and what are the problems of weavers of Varanasi. If you are from Varanasi, for example, and you do not know about Ganga Clean Ganga program, National Clean Clean Ganga program, or something related to Vishwanath corridor, something related to religious ideas of Varanasi or the places famous in Varanasi. So it is going to demoralize you in your interview. Similarly, your state. My state was UP, so I have to prepare everything related to UP. Not everything, but at least something. For example, economy, society, politics. What are the problems of UP? How you can improve it? Now, this was a general discussion. Now, I would like to come regarding giving answers. Always understand that this is an examination for generalist perspective. This is not a specific perspective. So you should think in a wider area. Always give answer. Whenever you are giving any answer, always give a big picture of it. Then let other person, the interviewer should ask you from that given perspective. Never ever try to give a specific answer at the beginning. Try to give a specific answer at the follow-up stage. This is going to help you a lot. Whenever you are giving any answer, be practical about it. For example, during my mock, I have been asked a question regarding UP becoming $1 trillion economy by 2025. So I gave a very idealistic answer, that yes, these are the policies, these are the programs that are going to take UP to $1 trillion economy. I have been stopped and told that you have to be very practical and very real, that if the GDP of UP is not growing at 4%, at 6%, 7%, then how it is going to achieve $1 trillion economy? This is not so. So be practical. I'm not saying that you should be very negative, not at all. You have to be very positive, but you should be practical and be real. आपको किसी की झूठी वाही नहीं करनी, आपको सच बताना है, आपको पॉजिटिव तरीके से बताना है, लेकिन जो सच है वो आपको अगर इम्प्रूवमेंट दिख रही है तो आप उसको बताइए, पहली चीज़. दूसरी चीज़, आंसर देते समय हमेशा अपना एक्सपीरियंस ज़रूर बोलिए. PCS के दौरान मुझे एक सीनियर ने कहा था कि whenever you are giving any answer, try to give your life experiences. And I gave those examples during PCS interview and also in UPSC interview. That helped me a lot. For example, अगर आप किसी एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट से आते हैं और आप बातें दिल्ली जैसे शहरों की कर रहे हैं तो वो मैच नहीं करता है. आपको बताना है कि वहाँ का छोटे शहरों का संघर्ष क्या है, छोटे शहरों में प्रॉब्लम क्या है, वो आपके आंसर्स में आनी चाहिए. कुछ आपकी जो स्पेसिफिसिटी है ना, आपकी पर्सनालिटी की भी स्पेसिफिसिटी, आपके डिस्ट्रिक्ट की स्पेसिफिसिटी यहीं से आएगी. अपने लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस ज़रूर शेयर कीजिए. और जब भी आप आंसर दे रहे हैं, यदि आपके आसपास, इफ़ यू आर गिविंग एन आंसर एंड इफ़ यू फाइंड दैट some civil servant has done wonderful work, you should mention it because he or she has motivated you. I have quoted 2 civil servants during my interview, and that has been, I think, was also appreciated by the board. Fourth thing, during interview, be natural, be what you are, endure what you have been, and embrace your personality. You don't need to copy anyone else. You are, and try to present yourself as you are. Because जब आप किसी को कॉपी करेंगे तो ठीक से कॉपी नहीं कर पाएंगे, और अगर कॉपी कर पाए तो आप अपने खुद ही नहीं रहेंगे. इसलिए आप जो हैं, जैसे हैं वैसे ही रहिए. Be confident, because confidence is the key. Confidence is something that is going to take you into the final list. That's it. Third thing I would like to say, that even nervousness during interview is very obvious and it is very natural. Even if it comes, try to hide it. And even if it comes, even if it is accepted by you, then board is not going to say that अरे तुमको ये नहीं आता, तुम नर्वस हो गए, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू मार्क्स. नो, बी रिलैक्स, बी काम, बी हैप्पी एंड always have faith in yourself and try to maintain smile during interview. This is very important. And see, interview is not a question answer mode. Interview is something of a very talkative mode where you have to talk. And कई बार ऐसे कहते हैं कि आप हाथ ऐसे नहीं कीजिए, हाथ ऐसे नहीं कीजिए. ऐसा नहीं है. जिस भी तरीके से आपका नेचुरल चीज़ बाहर आ रहा है, आपकी अपनी पर्सनालिटी बाहर आ रही है, वो बिल्कुल फाइन है. कोई ऐसी दिक्कत नहीं है. आपको वहाँ, मैंने कहा ना, जैसे आप हैं वैसे ही रहिए, कोई समस्या नहीं है. हिंदी में बोलते हैं, अच्छे से बोलिए. इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं, अच्छे से बोलिए. इवन इफ़ यू स्टक एट सम पॉइंट बिकॉज ऑफ योर लैंग्वेज, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ़ यू स्टार्ट फंबलिंग, you can even ask that, sir, I am unable to speak in English, can I say it in Hindi? I am very sure that board is going to allow it. At least you should try. This was the whole interview preparation that I have told is about those persons who are very isolated, who are homebound, and who have been preparing for 1 to 2 years and who have not given proper time for personality development during their college years. Now I'll come to those persons who are in college. The person who is in college has lots of time to prepare for interview. You should embrace your personality. You should develop your personality in the college year itself. That has helped me a lot. In BHU there is a festival, youth festival called Spandan. I was a regular participant of Spandan. I was a debater there. I was an anchor there. During the preparation that I did at that stage in Spandan, in class presentation, has helped me a lot, because it has helped me to develop my language, to develop this skill of to dealing the question that were very prompt, or that were unusual, or that has not been in my depth. So जो लोग भी अभी कॉलेजेस में हैं, आप अपनी पर्सनालिटी को डेवलप करिए बहुत अच्छे से. जो आपके फेस्टिवल्स होते हैं उसमें ज़रूर पार्ट लीजिए. जो क्लास प्रेजेंटेशंस होती हैं उसमें बोलने की प्रैक्टिस कीजिए. अपने दोस्तों के साथ डिस्कशन मोड में हमेशा रहिए. अंत में मैं बस यही बोलूँगी कि एक सिविल सर्वेंट एक नज़रिए से आता है, एक विजन से आता है कि अगर मैं इस पोजीशन में जा रहा हूँ जहाँ पे मुझे लोगों की सेवा करनी है, तो ये माइंडसेट, ये विजन आपके में हमेशा होना चाहिए. ये ना सिर्फ आपको मोटिवेटेड रखेगा, ना सिर्फ डेडिकेटेड रखेगा, बट सिविल सर्वेंट बनने के बाद भी आपको बताएगा कि आप में वो क्षमता है कि यदि एक भी व्यक्ति का जीवन आप बदल सकते हैं तो आप ज़रूर बदलिए. हमेशा अपने पास ये मोटिवेशन रखिए, ये विजन रखिए, ये डेडिकेशन रखिए. अपने काम के साथ हमेशा ऑनेस्ट रहिए, हमेशा. क्योंकि अगर आप ऑनेस्ट नहीं हैं तो रात को जब आप सोने जाएंगे तो आपको नींद नहीं आएगी. और विश्वास मानिए, जिस दिन आपने ढंग से पढ़ाई की है उस दिन आपको नींद भी अच्छी आएगी और आप अपने साथ जस्टिस भी कर पाएंगे. और जिस दिन नहीं आती है उस दिन अपने आप से पूछिए कि क्यों नहीं आ रही है, क्या गलती की है, उस गलती को सुधारिए. सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन सिर्फ एग्ज़ाम पास कर लेने का एग्ज़ाम बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. ये पूरा पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट का, पूरा थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज करने का एग्ज़ाम, ये परसिवरेंस का एग्ज़ाम, ये डेडिकेशन का, ये हार्डवर्क का एग्ज़ाम. ये बताता है कि व्यक्ति अपने पे काम करे तो कितना कुछ कर सकता है. ये बताता है कि एक आम आदमी, एक छोटा सा आदमी थोड़ी सी मेहनत करके पूरे समाज में कितना बड़ा चेंज ला सकता है. मिर्ज़ापुर में 75 सालों से नल का पानी नहीं आता था. आईएएस दिव्या मित्तल ने वो करके दिखाया. यहाँ के एसडीएम थे, इनका भी ट्रांसफ़र हो चुका है, प्रेम प्रकाश मीना। उनकी एक स्कीम थी, न्याय आपके द्वार। सालों से लंबित पड़े जितने केसेस थे लैंड डिस्प्यूट से रिलेटेड, उन्होंने अपने जज्बे से, अपने हार्डवर्क से और अपनी स्ट्रेंथ से सारे के सारे को उन्होंने सॉल्व कर दिया। तो एग्ज़ाम बताता है कि यदि आप चाहें अपने वैल्यूज़ से, अपने आइडियाज़ से बहुत कुछ चेंज कर सकते हैं। सो एग्ज़ाम आपकी पूरी आपका बहुत सारा चीज़ चेंज कर देगा। ऐसा नहीं, अगर आप फेल भी हो जाते हैं ना एग्ज़ाम में, मैं तो बहुत लकी थी एंड आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू गॉड कि मेरा हो गया। लेकिन मुझे पता था कि यदि नहीं भी होगा तो भी इस एग्ज़ाम ने बहुत कुछ सिखाया है, बहुत सारे वैल्यूज़ दिए हैं, बहुत सारे आइडियाज़ दिए हैं, एक थिंकिंग दी है, एक आइडिया दिया है कि एक नागरिक होना कितना ज़रूरी हो सकता है, कितना कुछ हम कर सकते हैं। और आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया को अगर साकार कर सकते हैं तो उसको कैसे कर सकते हैं, उसमें एक छोटा सा कंट्रीब्यूशन कैसे किया जा सकता है, वो इस एग्ज़ाम ने सिखाया। एक बात मैं बोलना भूल गई। देखिए, ये हो सकता है कि इस एग्ज़ाम में आपको बहुत लंबा समय लग जाए, इसलिए ज़रूरी है कि 2 अटेम्प्ट के बाद आप प्लान बी के बारे में सोचना ज़रूर शुरू करें। एंड फॉर दैट आप मास्टर्स कर सकते हैं, आप स्टेट पीसीएस में जा सकते हैं। लेकिन ये ज़रूर है कि आप अपना जो पोटेंशियल है उसको सिर्फ सिविल सर्विसेज एग्ज़ाम में लगाएं, बिल्कुल लगाएं, लेकिन दूसरे अटेम्प्ट के बाद, तीसरे अटेम्प्ट के बाद ज़रूर प्लान बी के बारे में सोचना शुरू कर दें। और ये भी सच है कि अगर ये एग्ज़ाम इतना कुछ सिखाता है, इतना कुछ बताता है, तो ये भी सच है कि ये एग्ज़ाम आपकी पूरी ज़िंदगी नहीं है। अगर आपका नहीं हो पाता है, कोई बात नहीं, कि इसको बस एग्ज़ाम भर तक लेने की भी ज़रूरत है। एग्ज़ाम को अपनी पूरी ज़िंदगी मत बना दीजिए, आगे बढ़िए। यदि आपका हो गया तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, लोगों की सेवा कीजिए। जिस लिए हम कई सारे रिकमेंडेशन पढ़ते हैं कमेटी के, GS4 के आंसर्स लिखते हैं, उसको सिर्फ आंसर तक सीमित मत रहने दीजिए, उसको अपने काम में ले आइए। यदि आपकी कलम से, आपके काम से एक भी व्यक्ति का जीवन बदल सकता है, सुधर सकता है, आप ज़रूर कीजिए। बी ट्रू टू योरसेल्फ, बी हार्ड वर्किंग, बी इंटीग्रल। लेकिन यदि आपका नहीं होता है तो बिल्कुल मायूस मत होइए। सेवा करने का बस यही एक तरीका नहीं है, बहुत सारे तरीके हैं। आप टीचर बन सकते हैं, आप बहुत कुछ आगे कर सकते हैं, इसलिए कभी मायूस मत होइए और हमेशा अपने काम के साथ जस्टिस कीजिए। और यदि कभी आपको, जो मुझे हमेशा मोटिवेट करता है, जब भी मैंने फेलियर को मुंह देखा, तो मुझे एक चीज़ हमेशा याद रही कि दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं, नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम मगर शाम ही तो है। इसको हमेशा याद रखिए। अंत में मैं बस यही कहना चाहूँगी, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट to all of you. Have perseverance, have patience, have faith in yourself, and definitely you're going to make it. Your personality is definitely going to be made in this examination, and you're going to contribute in the success of India 2047. Thank you so much.